Hello everyone, it's July 7th, 2020. It's Tuesday. It's Harp Tuesday. Welcome to this week's episode. So I'm very excited because just a few days ago I published my music video of Bach's Toccata and Fugue in D minor. So this is a piece I've been playing for about 3 years. My own transcription, so I've published the sheet music for that transcription as well. Should be seeing a link in the video description, maybe a link up here as well. And also an arrangement, a transcription of just the opening toccata for lever harp. I'm not sure that the fugue could be done on lever harp, but the toccata works quite nicely. And such an iconic piece. I'm really happy with how that music video turned out, and yeah, excited to get the music out there as well of this fantastic piece. So for today's episode, what I thought I would talk about is that opening Mordent. Such a iconic and recognizable beginning to a piece of music. And in this particular piece, right, it's written just as a single A with this funny symbol above it. And that symbol is called a mordent. And it means simply to play the note that it's written above, so in this case the A, play the note beneath, so in this case the G, and play the note again. So, of course, that little pattern could be written out as individual notes. Also, sometimes we might get a similar effect as a very short trill. And in fact, in the toccata, there's a trill above an F, and in most Baroque music that would start on the note above. So, and I'm doing a very abbreviated one, so I'm just playing G, F, G, which of course is the same as if it were a G and the note below a Layne. So playing the note above, the note, and the note above is the same as playing the note beneath, and the note again. So in other words, that little pattern of boom, boom, boom is something that occurs, and it's, so I think there is an ideal fingering for it. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm also going to tell you why I didn't use that for the opening of this toccata. So I was taught that one of the best options, or perhaps the best option for that type of pattern, is not maybe the most intuitive, or would be to just go 1, 2, 1, right? And certainly when we're doing a string of notes, high, low, high, low, high, low, as long as it's not too big a stretch, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 is what we would do. But if you do 2, 3, 1, that I think is the ideal, and it has a couple of advantages. One is that in theory, maybe it's more effective and efficient because we're never playing the same finger twice. Instead of going thumb, thumb, we're going 2, 3, 1. So each finger gets to play once. And you get that in a lot of piano fingering as well, trying to activate multiple different fingers rather than repeat the same finger. It also has quite a nice feel to it because there's almost this sense of moving away a little bit. Right, we're here, the hand's going to move a little bit away to get the thumb on there. And we could even, so almost back and forward. A bit of a rocking feeling or something. And I know, again, one of the first things I associate with that fingering is the Grandgenie edition of the Handel Harp Concerto, because that's a piece I learned when I was very young. And again, some little ornamentation, and he uses that fingering, 2, 3, 1, and it's a lovely fingering. So again, maybe it's slightly more efficient, could be not. Again, some people, for example, on a one-handed trill will go 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1. Again, I think of that same principle that we're not stressing one finger as much because we're sort of spreading the load. But for me, I've always found the 2-1 to be more effective for me. But the other major advantage, I think, to this is the sound. I love starting with 2 rather than with a thumb, and I feel that by having by having 3 individual fingers, it just gets a more even and beautiful sound. Now, I don't know what you're hearing right now, right? You might say, well, it sounds about the same to me. To me, it definitely sounds better, but again, maybe as soon as you get a little distance from the harp, maybe it's about the same. And obviously, it's close. So I do, in general, think this is really a great fingering and something to practice. And I did some slow motion footage of this, so take a look. And that idea, right, that especially if it's fast, instead of letting the thumb rest gently on 2, which we normally would if it's not playing, we'll probably have it up and ready. So we play 2, the thumb delay, of course, because we don't want to stop this too early. And that's how it's done. So initially, that's how I did these opening Mordents. I don't know if you could hear there, but that was an example of what I found that it was a little bit risky. So I kind of missed that last note. It wasn't quite as good as I would like, that last A. And what I was finding was I didn't feel that I had the security to play it exactly as loud and as fast as I wanted. So again, if I were doing soft and slow, that feels 100% secure, as if I can replicate that every time the way I want to, right? Or even if it's fairly soft and faster, or loud but slow, again. And I definitely prefer that sound to the 1-2-1. But at the speed I wanted to play it, and the volume I wanted to play it, I was finding that it was just a little bit hit and miss. So here, if we look at this, again, slow motion footage of the 1-2-1 and the 2-3-2, I think what I was finding, right, was that, and in particular, I think because it was the very opening of the piece. So fingers haven't been warmed up at all yet. You're just starting. And that, again, you want it to be so crisp, and of course, it's this iconic opening, and you don't want to mess it up. And that the thumb hasn't played yet, and it hasn't played on that A, so there's that risk of, will it find that A precisely? Will it maybe be a little bit high, which is actually better than placing it low, because we don't want to interfere with that G. And I practiced it quite a bit, and again, it was pretty good. But eventually, for the moment at least, I've decided to just do 1-2-1 because, again, the thumb's moving maybe a little bit less, and it has just played that A. So there's that muscle awareness of where exactly it has to go back to, right? So that that again just feels then 100% secure rather than maybe 95% secure, and that I can do that at the speed and the volumes I want, even if I don't quite like the sound quite as much. So anyway, just an interesting example again of kind of like being aware of your hands, being aware of sort of maybe ideal fingerings, and then knowing when you want to deviate from those. And again, for you, I would definitely say if you're not accustomed to doing a 2-3-1, it's a very useful pattern to know and to have ready to pull out if you run across a situation that calls for it. Because again, it feels fun, it feels nice, and I think it sounds really good. It's just in this specific case, I ended up finding that I wanted to do the 1-2-1 instead. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found that interesting. Check out that video of the Bach Toccata and Fugue, of course. And if you're watching this live, July 7th, this coming weekend, I'm releasing a new video, new project, and the following weekend as well. So I've got a bunch of exciting stuff lined up. And of course, I will see you in 2 weeks' time as well for next Harp Tuesday episode. See you then. Cheers.